Hi, Tom here with this week's Circle Line Art School drawing video. For this drawing, start by drawing a rectangle as a guideline box for the drawing of the basic shapes of the car. We want all of the shape of the car to fit within this rectangle, which is a double square, so two squares drawn together, and then the car should fit in within these guidelines. Guidelines are soft lines, softly drawn lines, to guide the shapes, the basic shapes that the drawing will need. Next, from the central vertical line, draw a diagonal line to the left side and then another diagonal line to the right side. Next, from the halfway point of the central vertical line between the two squares, draw two more diagonal lines, the same angles as the first two diagonal lines below them. Next, draw another diagonal line on the left, a shorter line, with two connecting lines to the line below it. Then on the right, draw another shorter line, the same angle as the lines below it, and then draw two more connecting lines towards the right. We can repeat this process on the left with a shorter line for the top of the car, and then again on the right. Make sure all the angles of the lines which are parallel, of the lines which are stacked lines one on top of each other, are parallel to each other, so that they're parallel on the right hand side and parallel on the left hand side. Once you have all the guidelines in place, including the top of the car, and then check your drawing and think if the basic shapes of the car would fit into the guidelines that we've drawn at this stage. If you'd like to learn more about my online drawing courses for beginners, please visit my website, circlelineartschool.com. Now we have the basic shapes for the car. Draw two vertical lines on the left as a guideline shape for the wheels, which are going to be viewed at an angle as ellipses, circles seen on their side. Next, draw an X and then a cross in each of these square guidelines, so that we can later on find the center of the wheel and draw an accurate ellipse seen from the side, a circle seen from the side. Once you're ready with your guidelines for the wheels, carefully draw the two wheel ellipses. These are still just guideline ellipses for the wheels that we can improve over time within the drawing. The front square needs to be larger than the back square, so the back square, I'll shorten the height of the square so that the wheel at the left hand side, the back of the car, will seem smaller because it's further away from us, the viewer. The nearest point that we're looking at the car at is the original vertical line between the two squares that we drew at the beginning. The next step is to draw the base of the car on the left, parallel with the other straight lines that go towards the left. And now sketch in some guidelines for the front of the car on the right and introduce some of the curved shapes that the car has, using the earlier straight guidelines as a guide, as that is all they are, just guidelines. And now we're building up from those guidelines to get the smooth curves of the car. The centre of the front of the car will be offset towards the right due to the way the sides of the car are receding from us from the central vertical line between the two original double squares. So that's the nearest point that we're seeing of the car, and all the rest of the car is further away from us and therefore needs to be smaller as it recedes away from us. And our central viewpoint, which is the vertical line between two squares. The next step is to continue to draw the curved shapes, of the car using the basic guidelines. There are curves on the outline of the car, but there are also curves within the form of the car, and all of these curves sort of work together. It's good to try and get the flow of the curve of the lines rather than any accuracy at this stage, just to get the right feel for the car. The wheels will have a thickness to them. The base of the wheels will have a thickness, and the bottom baseline of the wheels will be a diagonal line which goes towards the right of the drawing, parallel to the other diagonal lines that go towards the right. We can see part of the wheel on the right as well. Once you have the basic shapes for your drawing, it's time to start adding a few indications of detail. We don't want too much detail in this drawing. So take your time to find what works well for your drawing. So it is at this stage in the drawing when we can add more specific details to the lines and the edges. This is often the stage that students want to start their drawing at, but I hope you can see that it's best to prepare the drawing with a series of careful guidelines and basic shapes before attempting any details that the drawing might need. We can draw the centre of the wheels using our guidelines from earlier along. And work on the front of the car, looking at the curved surfaces within the front of the car and how they follow the form of the car. To find out more about drawing from scratch, please visit my website, circlelineartschool.com, where you'll find full details of my drawing course for beginners, where you can also get direct feedback from me on your drawings within the course. Next up, see the drawing unfold in real time so that you can draw along. If you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, so that you subscribe to my channel now, and then you can keep up to date with all the content I make. I make a new video each week. If you have any comments or any ideas for future drawings, please leave them in the comments below. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the drawing. To find out more about drawing from scratch, please visit my website, circlelineartschool.com, where you'll find full details of my drawing course for beginners, where you can also get direct feedback from me on your drawings within the course.